Prepare yourself for invasion. This is Indie Invasion.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Thursday Night Shorts. This is Eric, half of Indie Invasion, with you tonight. Mac, my partner in crime, is having a little bit of technical difficulties tonight. He's having some bad storms down by him, and he lost power about an hour ago. So, of course, timing, right? He said he's going to try and get on here if it comes back on, but we will see. But in the meantime, you just got me with you tonight on Indie Invasion Shorts, and welcome in. Say hello, hello. What's going on, guys? And if you could, please give us a like, follow, subscribe, smash that button. We appreciate it. And it looks like we got a couple people in here already. So we got Ron. Welcome in, Ron. Howdy. How you doing? Yeah, we don't have storms up here, Mac. And yeah, Clem, I saw that you were on a plane earlier today, and I kind of had a little, I don't know, I was hoping, wishing, and I saw you were coming north, that maybe you were coming to Chicago area, but I see you flew over me basically. So one of these days, Clem. What has everybody been working on? Kind of need some audience participation tonight, so need a little bit of peanut gallery action tonight. And hello, Floyd, Jim. Why did I say Floyd, Jim? I don't know. I think it was the first name I looked at on here. Welcome in. Glad you can make it. Yeah, I am solo tonight, and I titled this mystery topic because I wasn't sure if I was going to do solo or not. But what's everybody been working on in the last week? It seems like I did 2 streams, hobby streams, Sunday and Tuesday, and so I got to see some of you guys already this week. And my big thing was Sunday, I pulled the trigger and I got some speed paint. So I did a stream Tuesday night, or was it Tuesday night? Tuesday night, yes. I did a short stream using this for the first time. So if you guys want to check that out, you can look for it on our YouTube or even on the Twitch, Facebook. I do have a link in the show notes you guys can follow to just see me painting with this stuff. This is the mega set that I ended up getting. But I'll tell you what, and we kind of want to talk about this a little more. I'm sold on it. I mean, I painted this guy, which you guys might have seen on the Facebook page. I posted it, and her in about, let's see, I think I did him in about 40 minutes on the stream, and I couldn't stop. So I did her too in like another half hour, and she had nothing on her. So she's got a little bit more touching up to do. It's something that I think we want to talk about a little bit more. And if you guys didn't see it, I also finished some new terrain for the table. So this is the one guy I painted. It's his little fireworks stand. It was a special 4th of July sale that Black Site Studios had, and I couldn't resist it. You got to get a fireworks stand, right? Alder, good morning. I see that you're joining us right now. You painted some Twisted. There you go. There's a ding for you, Alder. And Ron's talking about getting his wife ready to play Frostgrave. Finally. Do you have to do a lot of house chores for that one, Ron, to convince her? That's pretty cool though, when you get your significant other to play some games with you. Yeah, Jim, so far I am loving them. I think I almost want to say that some of your videos that I've seen you post kind of inspired me to give them a whirl. Let's see. Clem's been traveling, so I hadn't worked on anything. Tim, hello, Tim, welcome in. Yeah, Jim's saying that he hasn't painted this many minis in a long time. It does cut time in half. So yeah, if you guys haven't checked that out, check out my video. Check out some of Jim's stuff, that Tabletop Engineer. You can see Yeah, I think me and Mac want to talk about this some more. Just if we can get him on here. Let's see, the reactivation with the speed paints alder. Yeah, that was something I found out. Luckily, somebody mentioned it to me, and I kind of noticed it when I was painting because I was getting a little too, into it and trying to cover all of it. I ended up what I did was I used my hair dryer for one because I couldn't wait. I wanted it even faster. And once it was dry, I just hit it with some seal to just try to seal it off and then go back into it. Which once I got all the, like, I guess you call it base coating of the speed paint down, I gave it a real good seal coat. And then I actually went back in with my washes and stuff like that. And, to kind of push some of those edges back a little bit more. And then if I felt like it needed a little more highlighting, I could highlight it more and not worry about it. But yeah, I did run into that issue. And I was like, oh, yeah, I better hit this with some kind of sealer. I just used like a matte sealer on it. So it wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. Let's see what else we got. Oh, my mouse is acting up here. You've been working on her for months. That's a lot of chores, Ron. Yeah, Jim, I got what I use is a little like travel hair dryer that I've had forever. And it's just something that we just quit using, and I stole it for the hobby area, and it's nice to have that to get stuff to dry a little bit faster, whether it's glue or paint. How does it differ from the contrast paint, Clem? I think I don't think it's as intense as a contrast paints. I found it a little bit easier to work with, to be honest. I just didn't have much luck with contrast paints, and I don't know if I just was applying it wrong. Uh, I don't know for sure yet. That's something I think me and Mac want to talk a little bit more about when we get him on there. Um, yeah, Ron, I think it was worth it. I was a little worried about uh, pulling the trigger on that kind of money and that set, but I I have yet to do like a big bunch of minis, but something like a board game where you have a lot of minis like Zombicide or whatever. I think something like that would be great for, just to get them to the table real quick. Um, let's see. Just got to watch overlapping colors. However, if you want to blend in different colors or shades, it works well. Yes, that was one thing I noticed, Alder. If you want to do blending, it really makes that easy. Let's see. Jim is saying his only complaint now is there isn't a big enough spread of colors. Now, I think if it does well enough, Jim, selling for them, they might come out with some more colors. I mean, they did have, what was it called? They had the medium in there, and I guess that's so you can kind of make your own tone if you want. And I'm assuming a lot of these colors are going to be single bottles too, if you want to buy them. So maybe they will come out with another color set. I mean, these colors are pretty basic in here, so we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, they do need some more variations of colors. My mouse is acting up. There we go. What Ron saying here? I have made some of my own contrast type paint that Goobertown Hobbies did a video for, and they work well. Oh, that's cool. I have to check that out if you guys are interested in making your own. Yeah, I assume the video's on YouTube, right, Ron? We'll just do a search and look for it. So that's cool. So also, off the topic of some speed paint, I don't know if you guys saw this. I think I posted a picture of this. So when I got the speed paint, I was at the local game store, and there's a new version of this movie franchise, a board game for it. Okay. And I know, Jim, you know about this because you about flipped your wig when you saw me post this. And I don't know about the board game because I have an older version of it that came out a couple years ago. It was okay. But So now the base board game, I guess, has little standees in it, and they did some expansions of the Norwegian team, and they had this one. So this is the Alien miniature set. Let me see if you guys can see this. I could not resist this. I mean, they got, the dogs when they're starting to mutate. They got the I forgot what his name was. Burke, I think his name was. And then when they took his head off and he turned into an upside down spider, that was creepy as heck. And then, of course, the final form of the alien. I couldn't resist these. I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever get the board game, but having aliens, creepy crawlies like this, I could use these in some kind of skirmish, tabletop game, whatever I want. I might actually use these in place of the little gray aliens and don't look back. In other games, there's tons of other games I could play if I want an alien or even just a mutated creature. So I couldn't resist that. So if you guys you love this movie, and go look for this in your hobby store or online. This is who makes this? This is Pendragon Game Studio. It looks like it's an Asmodee company. So, like I said, I found this in my local game store, so I'm sure you guys can find it too, or even online. Look for it. These things are cool. Or if you want some little snow Antarctica guys, get that other set they had. That's kind of cool. Norris was the name of the dude. Okay. Thanks, Ron. Yeah, Jim, I know you love the game. Okay, Ron, thanks for posting that link on the Discord for that video. Yeah, okay, Jim. We'll play it. We will play it, and 6 others. So yeah, one of us is gonna be the trader. I don't know if it has that trader mechanic in it. The other ones did, I know. We'll see. We'll see if it does. Well, you got to bail. Okay, Clem. Check out the rest of the video later, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good vacation, man. So I've been babbling a little bit, trying to see if Mac was gonna get on, because he said if his power came back on, he'd just jump right in. But I think what we're gonna do, since I wasn't sure what the topic was gonna be, I didn't know if I was gonna have Mac here or not. I put mystery topic, and I'll probably change this after we stream and stuff. But I did get another topic ready. Sometimes I do more than one topic, and I just push it off to another week. But I thought tonight, and you guys can help me with this conversation. We talk about should we resurrect dead games? Now, Mac and I've to the some effect have been looking at older games. That most games go away at some point. They quote die for one reason or another, and sometimes they make a return to us. So us old grognards can relive the glory, but sometimes they really don't have to come back or should return from the dead. And it's kind of one of those topics of, I guess it's, if the game has a community, it's never really quite dead, regardless if it has like a new release or not. So, well, I'm glad you were thinking of this too, Ron. So let's jump right into it. Since I babbled so long, we got to make up some time. Why do they die? So let's look at why some games die sometimes. The number one reason is you just can't get it anymore. Nobody's playing it. So, gamers lose interest pretty easy that way. They move on to the next shiny. Now that could happen for a number of reasons. Maybe the company decided not to support it anymore, or even though you're still playing it and showing it to people, it's kind of hard to get new players into the game if they can't go to the store or online and find the product. Now, that takes a long time sometimes. I mean, the company could even stop producing the game, and there's a lot of stock out there in warehouses and stuff. So, I mean, that's one reason. And one of the other things is once they do start to sit, like that, and people just can't find it out there, it maybe it starts to get not popular, and that's why it sits. And then at that point, then it starts to be, it's a business thing for these companies, right? It starts to cost the company money because they have to store it in a warehouse. And maybe from that warehouse, they got to ship it to, it could be an online vendor or other game stores to actually sell it. So a lot of times that's why they stop supporting it or really making new stuff. Now, in today's modern age, that still happens, but I think there's certain things out there that we can see some of this changing, uh, which we will get into in a little bit here. Let me see what you guys have to say about just why do they die so far. Um, so yes, Jim, that's also another good reason. Licensing is often lost. So if it's like an IP, I'm trying to think of some like Fantasy Flight usually is one that deals with IPs, and sometimes they lose those IPs and they revert back to the owner, like say Games Workshop or, I think Game of Thrones might be one, or Lord of the Rings might be another one that have jumped hands a couple times. So they may put out a really cool game like here. I got an example for you. Fantasy Flight did a Battlestar Galactica board game, super popular. Well, they lost the rights, so they couldn't produce that version of that game anymore, and it never went to anybody else. So it's just, it became scarce. They quit printing it. So, and I know on eBay those things go for big money now. Let's see what else people got here. Let's see. Alder says that these days online communities can keep the game going. Yes, that is going to be in one of our other subjects here, these talking points. But yes, that is a good point. In the sense that these games never can die. And a big example is that you look at Max getting into Mordheim again, and most of the stuff he's finding is online. And I think Necromunda he's playing again too. Same thing. Now they do have a new version of that, but he's playing the old version because of the online community and all the different resources that are out there for it. Let's see. Yeah, so Ron's talking about here companies lose the IP like Babylon 5 and Starship Troopers. Yeah, I've seen Starship Troopers jump around a little bit to different places. And yeah, the Alien games last year. I think that was who was that made that Jim? I mean that was like it seemed like it came out and then it was gone. Because I thought about getting the minis just to have the minis, but I couldn't even find them anymore. And yeah, Ron, that's a good example for communities. HeroScape is a prime example of community keeping the game going long enough that now they are resurrecting it. See, and that kind of stuff right there makes me think of Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl was a specialist game that GW did, and it went away for many years. And the community was so passionate about it, they kept it going. And it was kind of cool because even though it was hard to get new product or they just weren't supporting it, there's a lot of companies out there producing, third party type of stuff that you can just proxy in. And that was kind of a cool thing to keep the game going. And let's see. West End Games lost Star Wars RPG. I do remember that. And then it went to Fantasy Flight, I believe. I think Fantasy Flight still has that. Alder's talking about GW basically giving up on the specialist games. Yeah, it was the community that totally kept a lot of that going. So there's hope for Mac in his Battlefleet Gothic game. Yeah, I'm blanking on that, Jim, too. I'm sure I'll think of it when we get off. But okay, so let's talk about Never Really Dead. Some come back, right? We mentioned Necromunda. Originally, that came out in the mid 90s and eventually came back in 2017 with new product. Now, some of that old product is still floating around out there, but it's kind of pricey because it's original, right? But like what Mac was doing, he's using those original rules that they found a lot of stuff online. So you got online community supporting it through, PDF files. And then he's just using the new minis and proxy them in. Now, something else that, can kind of keep this stuff going. And I've seen this with stuff like Battlefleet Gothic. people are designing their own STL files, and then you go on Etsy, they have tons of stuff on there that are sort of what they were. Like just recently, Mac got a bunch of Chaos Dwarfs. They haven't made Chaos Dwarfs in forever, so it's that third party printing that you can get that and just proxy it in, use it for those old games, whether you're using the old rules or if you're making homebrew rules that somebody made online. So that's something that can keep it around. Monpok was one that came to my mind. That game kind of was slowly dying, and that community kept it going for a number of years. And then just recently, last couple of years, they brought it back. And I don't know when it's supposed to come out. They did a partnership where they got a board game version of it coming out. I say board game, it's the same game, but the quality of the miniatures are just your board game miniatures. So they're much cheaper to produce and, to make it an easier access for people to play the game. Now, some of the ones that I think need to come back, and you guys can pipe in on games that you think need to come back that just haven't had a new edition or something like that. Next, let's see, Battlefield Gothic. We mentioned that. That's a favorite of Mac's. Gorka Morka and Man of War. These are all games that I think Mac would love to come back because I know he's looked for Man of War, and the price on the original set of that, holy cow. So it's kind of pricey for that, for some of these to come back sometimes. So it's almost like you want them to come back. And, if they do come back and you don't see stuff for a little bit, well, there's a couple reasons why. Maybe, they just didn't plan it that way. Like Space Hulk, it's a limited run. Sometimes it comes out, and once it's gone, and people go crazy trying to get a copy, and then in a couple more years they release it again. So, but sometimes it just business wise, maybe it didn't sell well, and that's why it's kind of like a one and done. Let's see what else you guys got to say here. I haven't looked at the comments in a while. Let's see. Jim is talking about NISEI. Took the Netrunner mechanics and reprinted all the cards as open source. Gave you a chance to play it since you missed it the first go around. Well, you should have let me know, Jim, because I got a whole bunch of that stuff from when it first came out, and I only played it a handful of times. Yeah, so that's basically it's the same set of rules. They're just reskinning it type of thing. That's another way to keep, like a lot of times it's the mechanics that you fall in love with, right? So maybe it's just reskinned a little bit. Let's see. Alder, yeah, he's still waiting on the Monpok Kickstarter. Won't be till next year. Yeah, to tell you the truth, I've been putting off, and I hope I didn't miss the window. The Pledge Manager, I think it was a GameFound Pledge Manager or one of the alternatives. I still haven't done that yet. So hopefully I didn't miss my window of that. But I went pretty low into that Kickstarter. So let's see. Ron's talking about Catalyst Game Labs is bringing back Leviathans. Yes, I was surprised when I saw that because I think the game was popular. I don't know if it really took off the first time. Now, I know when it first came out and released at that Gen Con that year, it was pretty popular, but I think they had issues with, I don't know if it was producing it or just getting the game out there, that the supply, it was hard to get everything out there. I don't know if his demand was too high and they couldn't keep up with it. And, it's like I said earlier, if you don't see the product, you don't see new product at all, people start to lose interest and move on. So you kind of lose your little player group for the game. Let's see. Alder is talking about Guild Ball stopped being produced recently by Steamforged Games as they concentrate on other games. Well, that's kind of a hot topic, I know, in that community that likes Steamforged Games. I guess they made some decisions that the community didn't really kind of agree on, and I don't know the full story on it. I didn't really play it. I got a free copy of Guild Ball from Adepticon when they were having a little bit of problems selling them, so they were just started giving them away type of thing. But I think at that point, a lot of people were kind of moving on because they found out there wasn't going to be new product or something. So, yeah, Ron, I still have some of those ships from play testing, and I don't have any of the dice, but I got some of the ships probably back here somewhere on the shelves. But okay, so stuff can stay alive, and we've mentioned a lot of these already. And a big reason why these games never fully die is that because an invested community of people, right, that are going to be the champions for that game. Um, if you love a game and you can get out there and show other people, and I think this is why a lot of us, when we get into a game, especially an independent game like a lot of us play, we get more than just one faction. We may get two factions. So if our buddy does have some interest, they don't have to go hunt for it. It's like, oh, hey, just use my stuff when we show up at the store. And some of us pretty much get everything they have. So you have variety and choices for your buddies to pick from. Maybe you got more than one buddy, and each one of you takes a faction to play. So that's one thing to help keep it alive. Is you got that community that's gonna be pushing that game out there and telling everybody why it's such a cool game. But like I mentioned, sometimes it's a business thing for these companies. Living rule books and STLs. I mentioned that already too. I think in today's day and age, it's almost beneficial for these companies to put this stuff online. And you look at Drive Through RPG and War Game Vault, they can put it up there and it doesn't cost them anything. It can be up there and available for anybody that wants to play it. The product really never goes away unless for some reason maybe they decide to update it or just for some reason take it down because maybe they want to change it. And same thing with STLs. Use those in place of proxies, for proxies and all that. Let's see. Let's see what's Jim saying here. He's talking about, I so wish a company would resurrect Starfleet battles with a more streamlined rule set. Mac would hate it though. Yeah, he probably would. He likes that chunky, clunky stuff. He likes having all those choices because then you feel like you're actually in that world. It's kind of like, it absorbs you into the world to make you feel more like part of it. And that's it's one of those. I think sometimes you will find stuff like that like you, Jim, a fan base likes the game, but they don't like the clunkiness of it. So maybe they'll streamline it. Some homebrew rules, right? Which can totally keep a game going. You're using the same pieces and tokens and all that stuff. You're just making it a little bit quicker to play. And that's like a matter of taste, really. We all have different tastes in how our games play. Now, one question that I think the final question I thought of for this topic, looking at the clock, we're already getting down there, guys, is should companies bring these dead games back? Now, that's a topic that it's like comes down to, it's a business thing, right? They want to make money. They really do. And sometimes they may try it to come out and it just doesn't work. But I don't think we have to depend on these companies nowadays with all the technologies, like we mentioned, the STLs and PDF type files and stuff like that. We don't have to depend on them to keep the product around. And we're starting to see more and more stuff online of these older games, making it online through the communities so that you can look them up and play them. We have the print on demand and such. Now, if there's fans and people that want to play the game really bad, it will live on, right? You can go on eBay and find either original old copies of this stuff or, homebrew stuff. Just it's within that world of that game. Let's see, Ron's saying, but it wouldn't be Starfleet battles. What would it be, Ron, then? I take it you like the chunkiness of the original Starfleet battles too. And then Ron's also talking about D&D Attack Wing is another example of a good game that didn't make it. And and that was, we kind of mentioned the example of using the mechanics of one and just kind of reskinning it. So at that time, I believe it was, for a couple things maybe different, it was pretty much the same mechanics that they used for X-Wing and what other games did they have? There's a ton of games that use that flight pattern rules. And I think the last one I remember might have been Battlestar Galactica. I think that one was like a one set release, like a core and a bunch of single ships you can add on. And that didn't really take off. And I think that one was probably a licensing thing. So it's one of those that, you can still use the rules, maybe just proxy stuff in for it. But yeah, I think that's about it to look at dead games for tonight. Like I said, it's kind of, I think nowadays it's up to the community really that these things really are never going to fully die. And we've seen that already, especially in the last, God, I want to say 5 years. You've seen kind of more and more stuff available if you want to play it type of thing, especially like one sheet rules and stuff like that. But Wings of War, thank you, Ron. That's the other one I was thinking of. That was the original. But guys, just like that, we are at our 30 minutes. Fastest 30 minutes in gaming. I was hoping Mac would get on here to hang out with us for a little while, but he's way down south dealing with a storm on the coast. So next time. I mean, he sent me a video and it was just blackness, and I could see his yard every once in a while when it flashed. But thanks you guys for joining me tonight on Shorts. You can join us every Thursday for the live stream. I participate in our little studio audience. And hey, if you are new to the show or just want some more content, you can find, let me move my notes so I can read them better. You can find audio content on all the podcast platforms for your listening pleasure. And for video, check out our YouTube channel, the other social media platforms we have like Twitter, Instagram, Discord. Join us on the Discord. A lot of community members posting what they're working on there, which is pretty cool. And let's see. You can find all these links to these places in our show notes. And if you had any questions or suggestions for our show topics, drop us a line at indieInvasion@gmail.com. And hey, if you like what you're, hold on, I'm clicking on the wrong stuff. If you like what you're seeing, you can support us on Patreon. We have a Patreon page at /IndieInvasion. Any little bit helps. We appreciate it, but you don't need to. Don't feel like you need to. We just like doing these shows and interacting with you guys out there. But if you would like some merch also to show your support, visit us at Redbubble, people, IndieInvasion.com for hats, shirts, mugs, all kinds of stuff. Whatever your pleasure is from Redbubble. They got tons of stuff on there. But guys, that's all we have tonight. Thanks for joining me tonight and making it a fun Thursday night, even though I was solo. Next time, hopefully Mac will be here and we'll get into all kinds of shenanigans. But that's it. Let's see. Take care, guys. Yep. See ya, Alder. And until next time, guys, prepare yourself for the invasion. We'll talk to you later.